Methylene blue is an inexpensive blue dye developed by scientists in the 19th century for the textile industry. In addition to being a brilliant blue dye for fabric, surprisingly, it was soon discovered to be useful in the scientific laboratory and in medicine. As a stain, it could help scientists see bacteria, parasites, yeast, and other microorganisms when looking under a microscope. By adding the blue dye to microorganisms on an imaging plate, the internal structures and tiny organelles are illuminated and more easily seen by scientists. Remarkably, methylene blue is such a reliable stain that scientists use it today in laboratories worldwide, but stain for microscopy is only the tip of the iceberg as far as what methylene blue can do for science and the world. Keeping fish healthy. Fish hobbyists and fish farmers routinely use methylene blue as a treatment for keeping their fish and aquarium ecosystems healthy. Methylene blue is considered a safe aquarium disinfectant for marine life and a robust antifungal and antiparasitic agent. It is also used to treat fish eggs to ensure they are not lost to fungal overgrowth. Anybody who has ever had a fish tank knows how delicate aquarium ecosystems are, which is a testament to the safety of methylene blue. Dogs, cats, horses, cows, pigs, although not specifically approved for veterinary use, veterinarians commonly use methylene blue on numerous types of animals for treating and chemical poisonings. He'll summarize that later. An antidote for chemical poisoning. Most people today don't know that if you overdose on a pharmaceutical or a street drug, which there really is no difference, swallow some toothpaste containing insidious poison fluoride, or eat a poison mushroom, methylene blue is the first line of treatment doctors and nurses will administer in the emergency room. In fact, methylene blue is an effective antidote for virtually all chemical poisoning. Also used for drug overdose and chemical poisonings in hospitals are activated charcoal and sodium bicarbonate, also known as baking soda, which I've written about extensively in my book, Cancer, the Metabolic Disease, Unraveled. I have to get that. Malaria cured in 48 hours. Methylene blue was the first anti-malaria drug ever used in medicine and successfully treated all types of malaria in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Methylene blue works by inhibiting the malaria-causing parasite, however you pronounce that parasite, including drug-resistant types. Since then, methylene blue has been replaced with other anti-malaria drugs and for some time had been forgotten. But a recent revival in methylene blue research for malaria has shown that it could be the most effective antiviral drug ever developed. Viruses don't stand a chance. According to the research, many of the viruses that the public is taught to fear are quickly inactivated by methylene blue, including herpes, West Nile, herpes C, Ebola, Zika, HIV, which is not a virus, that's a hoax, and COVID-19, also probably a hoax. And perhaps the most promising part is the startling increase in an antimicrobial potency of methylene blue when combined with light therapy. It turns out the combination of methylene blue and specific wavelengths of red and near-infrared light poses an even more significant threat to the survival of all types of pathogens and harmful microorganisms. We'll look in depth at methylene blue's potential to treat viral infections in an upcoming chapter. A brain-boosting power. We all have days when our brain function feels slow, unfocused, and foggy. Can methylene blue help improve brain function and cognitive? Probably. Goodbye, depression. Since the announcement of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, decreased human interactions seem to have become a more or less permanent feature of our lives. These changes essentially mimic the behavior of people who are depressed, which explains why depression is at an all-time high. And given that the existing antidepressant drugs from some pharmaceutical companies, SSRIs, often come with debilitating and sometimes life-threatening side effects, never has the world been more in need of safe and effective remedies for alleviating the root causes of depression. Recent research has shown that a single dose of methylene blue can completely eliminate symptoms of depression in some individuals. From my experience testing dozens of different drugs and nutrients over the past 15 years for their effectiveness on my own depression, nothing has had a more positive impact on my life than methylene blue. If somebody is avoiding the social interactions necessary to live without depression, ultimately their behaviors will need to change for permanent resolution. However, methylene blue might be a great option for you until you forge those meaningful relationships and connections.